Since the war with Iran started almost 2 months ago, we've seen one of the largest military buildups in years, coupled with major disruptions to the oil market. That's putting a toll on U.S. resources and causing higher prices at the pump. But our next guest writes, one global superpower is benefiting from the conflict. Quote, China is weathering the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran better than most of any of its neighbors and looks set to emerge relatively stronger. And that person is, of course, Ian Bremmer. He joins us now. He's the president and founder of the Eurasia Group and G0 Media. Ian, great to have you on. So in the chessboard here, how is the war giving China an edge over the U.S. military?
Well, I wouldn't say it's giving them an edge over the U.S. military because the American military is much stronger than China. But economically, the Chinese have by far the greatest stockpiles, the reserves of oil, and also so many of the commodities that are being disrupted in the Strait. They've also the country that is investing the most in the long-term post-carbon technologies. Here we're talking about renewable energies, nuclear, wind, solar, electric vehicles, batteries, and the critical minerals and rare earths that supply them. And all of that has become so much more essential for the world, given that oil prices are way up, gas prices are way up, and there's a lot of uncertainty around the future of those choke points in that transit. So China is better set up on the back of this Iranian conflict than they were before the Americans launched it.
I want you to dig in a little bit more about the fact that the oil prices have gone way up. How is China dealing with rising energy prices compared to the United States?
Well, they don't have elections. So in the United States, Trump is underwater on affordability, on the Iran war. People talk about it all the time. It's $4 oil, gas, it's $5 diesel. It was the first thing he talked about in his State of the Union, about how cheap gas prices were in Iowa. Xi Jinping doesn't have midterms coming up. So yes, it's not happy for them that you actually have inflation that is coming. You've got economic growth that is going to be lower than they like this year. But this is not a near-term problem for Xi Jinping. His orientation economically has not been towards big structural reform, not a bazooka of domestic stimulus. It's been incremental, modest steps, thinking about the long-term advantages for the Chinese political system and their security. It's a much better way to ensure your growing influence globally than an electoral cycle where you change policy radically every 4, even every 2 years. I'm not suggesting China has a system that works better for their own population, their own citizens. I certainly wouldn't want to live under dictatorship myself. But we have to understand that America's political dysfunction here allows the Chinese to take advantage. Also with American allies that are presently finding the United States much less reliable as an ally long-term, while the Chinese seem to be a more stable long-term bet.
It's an interesting take. Ian Bremmer, we appreciate your insight and time. Thank you so much for coming on.
Good to see you.